From TLDR News, this is your daily briefing for Monday, the 7th of November 2022. Good afternoon. Today we're going to be talking about Elon Musk's plans for Twitter. We'll also be discussing three of today's other important stories and discussing Sir Gavin Williamson's expletive-filled texts. But first, Musk starts his shake-up of Twitter. In highly publicised news over the last few weeks, it was announced that Elon Musk was finally successful in his purchase of Twitter. Musk allegedly tried to drive the price down by alleging that the platform had a problem with bots and spam accounts. Ultimately, he ended up paying $44 billion for it and became its sole director. In this position, he stated that he's going to try and embolden free speech on the platform, make its algorithms open source, and remove spam bot accounts from the platform. Spam bots, though, aren't the only thing Musk is removing. Upon his purchase of the platform, he purged not only the company's top brass, but also rank-and-file employees. So far, it's been suggested that he's fired about half of the company's 7,500 strong workforce, as well as firing the board of directors, including Twitter's chief executive and chief financial officer. Musk claims that staff that are laid off are offered 3 months of severance pay, which he said is 50% more than legally required. Musk tweeted about the company's financial woes, saying Twitter has had a massive drop in revenue since he took over. He blamed pressure on advertisers from activists who are trying to, quote, destroy free speech in America. A growing list of brands, including Audi, Pfizer and General Mills, have paused their ads on the platform since Musk took over. Musk has additionally set about trying to revolutionize Twitter's financial model, claiming that the company is losing about $4 million each day. Part of this is his plan to start charging for a Twitter blue tick. Originally, the blue tick was set up to make it clear to people on the platform when a celebrity or public figure's account is legitimate. Getting verified was never previously about money. It was about whether your account was influential enough for it to be deemed necessary for your account to have a blue tick. Now it seems people will be able to purchase said blue tick for about $8 a month. This figure was actually meant to be about $20 a month. That was until the popular horror writer Stephen King tweeted saying there's no way he'd pay that for his blue tick. Elon replied asking, how about $8? It seems that King successfully talked Elon down in price. And Musk's dramatic start at Twitter didn't end there. In the last couple of days, Musk realised that a whole host of verified accounts had had fun by changing their profile pictures and display names to mimic Elon Musk and posting tweets mockingly impersonating the world's richest man. Comedian Kathy Griffin, actor Rich Sommer, and former NFL player Chris Clooney are among those who did this and have subsequently been suspended. The trend seemed to get a pretty quick response from Elon Musk, who tweeted, going forward, any Twitter handles engaging in impersonation without clearly specifying parody will be permanently suspended, and that any name change at all will cause temporary loss of verified checkmark. Okay, so that's the biggest story of the day, but there's a lot more going on around the world. So here's a rundown of three other stories. Leaders from across the world are meeting in Egypt to kick off the 27th United Nations Climate Change Conference, aka COP27. The conference, which lasts until November the 18th, sees the parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change formally brought together in a bid to craft a global response to climate change, and follows on from COP26, held in Glasgow, where countries committed to establishing stronger commitments to reducing greenhouse gas emissions. US President Joe Biden, France's Emmanuel Macron, Italy's Giorgia Meloni, and President-elect of Brazil, Lula, are all expected to attend the conference, as is former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson and current Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the latter going after previously saying he wouldn't. Russia's Vladimir Putin and China's Xi Jinping are not expected to attend the summit, nor is King Charles, in spite of being an outspoken environmental campaigner. The UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, in his opening speech, called for a historic pact and warned that we are on a highway to climate hell with our foot on the accelerator. He added it is either a climate solidarity pact or a collective suicide pact. There's more on the way, but be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to make the daily briefing part of your daily routine, or just search for us on your podcast app to listen along. For the first time in its 50-year history, France's far-right National Rally Party has a leader not from the Le Pen family. Marine Le Pen, who has stepped down as party chief, has been replaced by a 27-year-old MEP, Jordan Bardella, who was elected by 85% of the membership. Le Pen spent 11 years at the helm of National Rally, which used to be called National Front, after taking over from her father, who led the party he founded for 40 years. Jordan Bardella is a protégé of Marine Le Pen and has served as the party's acting leader since Le Pen stepped back to focus on her unsuccessful presidential campaign. But don't think that means we've seen the end of Le Pen. She'll continue to lead National Rally's parliamentary group, which consists of 89 MPs, and she's expected to continue to wield power in the party and is likely to go for a fourth presidential run in 2027. Indigenous protesters in Peru have released hundreds of tourists and locals who were held captive on a boat for more than a day. Members of the Caninico community took the people hostage in protest against the Peruvian government's inaction over oil spills in their area of the Amazon. Media reports offered a range of numbers of hostages taken, from 70 to nearly 300. No one was physically harmed, and the group explained to the hostages why they were taking the action. One Briton, who was among the hostages, said the conditions were starting to deteriorate due to lack of food and water before they were freed. The group's leader said that recent oil spills had affected his and nearly 80 other Amazon communities and put their access to clean water and food at risk. The tourists and locals were released over the weekend, but indigenous leaders vowed to continue protests and river blockades. And finally today, a positive news story. Whilst we're constantly urged to roll up our sleeves and give blood, for some people with ultra-rare blood types, even that isn't a solution to when the need for a blood transfusion arises. Researchers from the NHS Blood and Transplant and the University of Bristol and others have, however, in a world-first clinical trial, begun tests on blood grown in a laboratory. If the tests, which are happening on healthy volunteers for now, go well, the development is being heralded as life-saving for hard-to-transfuse patients. That's all we have time for on YouTube today, but if you want to see our discussion of Sir Gavin Williamson's expletive-filled texts, then watch the extended ad-free edition of the Daily Briefing over on Nebula. Nebula subscribers not only get everything you've already watched ad-free, but also an extended edition of the show every single day, available to watch on Nebula or stream on your podcast app of choice. So if you want to support the channel and get a more extensive daily briefing every day, you'll want to sign up. And there's good news. Our friends at CuriosityStream, the streaming service which offers some of the best documentaries, is offering a deal whereby you can get both platforms, CuriosityStream and Nebula, for less than $15 a year. That's all the best documentaries you could want on CuriosityStream, and then more TLDR on Nebula, including the extended briefing, other full exclusive TLDR videos, and it's always ad-free. Click the link below to get both services for less than $15 a year and support the channel.